every single piece of film history, that's why like critics are so bad, is based around Marxist theory. So like everything you do, like that's why they say, oh, this movie's bad for children, this movie's bad for this representation.
So critical theory has infiltrated the film industry
100%.
completely.
Yeah, there's no film theory that isn't based on critical theory. So
wow.
And there's like 100 classes at UT for film, and every single one of them is through this lens.
Wow, that's stunning. I mean, I've always known how that like it's very, very bad in universities that Marxism is pushed very hard, that anything that doesn't toe the Marxist line has been is pushed out and discriminated against and silenced. I knew that, but I didn't know that it was that even just film production was totally based around Marxist critical theory. Welcome back to the War Room. I've been teasing at this new project that we're going to be launching now. It's going to be called University Wars. You've heard Owen Schroyer talking about it a little bit. You've heard him mention the InfoWars Army. We're also going to be launching University Wars. It's kind of like there's the Army, and then they don't have any more, but back in World War II, there was the Army Air Force in the Army. This is going to kind of be the little inside organization. InfoWars Army is going to be a system, lots of audience engagement where maybe we come up with an idea here and we tell you guys and you go do it. Obviously all legal and lawful stuff, but whether it's go out, hold a banner, or go out, canvass your neighborhood with signs that say this, end the censorship, stop the bias, whatever that may be. University Wars is going to be focused on college students and people that work within universities, primarily our audience there. And our plan is we're going to have a website set up. We're getting social media set up right now. It's going to be great. We have universitywars.com. It's not live yet, so you don't need to go there yet, but we will have that soon. Owen Schroyer is going to do a hard launch for it on Tuesday of next week, but for the time being, I'm just kind of giving an idea right here. But the other thing that we want to do is we're going to find students within these campuses throughout the country, and we're going to set up kind of a collaboration with them where, we work with them and they do reports either about something that their professors have said, whether their professors, are just pushing Marxism or liberalism or discriminating against conservatives or libertarians, or maybe it's the activism that they're doing, producing videos of that. And then we're going to be basically syndicating those reports here on our InfoWars programs. And I told you about a guest that we had. This is our first guest. This is going to be kind of the inaugural partnership that we're going to have on the campus of UT. And we already have some big plans that we're going to try to make happen. I haven't even talked. This is Andrew Berman, by the way. He goes to UT. He's a film major. And we already have some good ideas, but he just rolled into the studio while I was with Roger, and then we're rolling right into this. So we're going to get to talking about that a little bit, and you'll see some very, very big things happening in the next few weeks and months. So, Andrew, thank you for coming on the show, first of all.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, I want you to tell the audience a little bit, just set it up for us. What is it like? You're a libertarian. You're in the film. You're a film major, correct?
Correct.
What is it like in that particular part of the university as a libertarian? Are you able to just freely express your views?
Not at all. It's rough because the way UT does it, it's split between media studies and actual production. And I don't know which one's worse because in the production realm, some of the professors have actually come and like protested your rallies and like anything you guys have done. They're like, the whack job people that haven't really been able to they're like too crazy for the industry rather. And the media studies professors, everything in like media studies within film and university is based through this like horribly Marxist lens. Like you start with Horkheimer and Adorno and everything's about aggression. Like,
Horkheimer, really?
That's your first textbook when you get film studies. And the second I started, I was like, oh, this is, not like camera operation, not screenwriting. It's Horkheimer and Adorno and, Marxism and cultivation theory and how negatively Hollywood is and stuff like that. So so the second I started, I was like, oh, this is, and it isn't even just libertarian, it's just anything that isn't that Marxist.
Yeah, and just for the audience that might not know, Horkheimer is like one of the foremost thinkers you hear a lot about cultural Marxism. There's, actual Marxism with Karl Marx and everything. Horkheimer is like one of the biggest voices in the actual cultural Marxism that followed after the Frankfurt School and everything. So sorry to interrupt, but go ahead with that.
Yeah, so that's exactly right. And essentially, because it would make sense, right, to learn about the impacts in media studies and the history of your major. That's why you go to school. But it doesn't make sense that before you even get to physically touch the camera, you're forced to take at least like 6 classes that are just Marxism, and by the time you physically get your hands on a camera, you don't want to make anything creative, and you really notice it at UT that there's a huge splinter of kids that just immediately want to start making their own content because they get so jaded with, and even people who don't recognize like what they're learning is bad because it's like Marxism, they still feel like everyone is whispering in the classrooms like, why are we learning this? So why aren't we learning about like Hollywood history?
What does
or anything?
Horkheimer have to do with film?
There's so many, like, again, so that's like the dirty secret I don't think anyone's like really talked about is every single piece of film history. That's why like critics are so bad is based around Marxist theory. So like everything you do, like that's why they say, oh, this movie's bad for children. This movie's bad for this representation.
So critical theory has infiltrated the film industry.
100%. Yeah, there's no film theory that isn't based on critical theory. So
wow.
And there's like 100 classes at UT for film, and every single one of them is through this lens.
Wow, that's stunning. I mean, I've always known that like it's very, very bad in universities that Marxism is pushed very hard, that anything that doesn't toe the Marxist line has been is pushed out and discriminated against and silenced. I knew that, but I didn't know that that even just film production was totally based around Marxist critical theory. Okay, well, anyways, on the other side of this break that's about to happen right now, I want to get into kind of what brought you to this point where you started your own website and you're actually fighting against this in your own way. So we're going to get back to that on the other side. This is The War Room. I'm your host, Jake Lloyd, with Andrew Berman. Welcome back to The War Room. We're almost halfway into our third hour of today's edition. I'm your host, Jake Lloyd, joined by Ethan Berman. I got his name wrong in the first one. Ethan Berman of Bermansplaining.com. And he's a UT student. He's a film major. And we were talking about how even when you go into a profession like film, immediately what you're hit with is cultural Marxism, indoctrination. And I mean, I didn't even know, like I've always known that universities are bad. I did not know to what extent that was actually happening, that the fact that you are in film, you are immediately taught critical theory. So we got into that a little bit. And what I wanted to get into at the beginning of this part of the segment is what pushed you, like, does this website predate your time at UT? Or did you start it up as a way to kind of start blogging and get stuff out there? What's kind of your path in that regard?
It was definitely the Trump's election. It was 2016. The major thing was going into university because I'm from Las Vegas, so it's not like perfect there, but I also had a military family, so I grew up knowing a lot of people. But getting university, I was expecting everyone to have like a variety of ideas or at least respect, debate. And I get here and every single person was saying the same things out in public, and they were like repeating lines they were fed to, by media or professors. And I was like, oh, this is really weird. And like I was in class, debating professors or in class debating friends, people I thought were friends. And like people were creating group chats just to like talk about like, we have to talk to Ethan about like, not saying these things out loud. Like he's making us look bad because of association. And I had friends getting like emails and stuff. And finally, it's like, the typical story everyone has like in that time of like, kind of having to go undercover. And finally I was just so sick of it because everyone kept telling like, hey, maybe keep your voice down. Maybe it's not good, and then, I voted for Donald Trump, and that I like publicly talked about it, and I was like sharing like Pepe memes and stuff when it happened, and everyone was emailing like, I can't believe you voted for such a disgusting person. I can't believe, I thought you're a good person, whatever. And I was like, you know what? Like I tried going in, like I realized how A, important it was, and then B, like I don't want to be silenced. I don't like that feeling. Like I'm supposed to be a content creator. I'm trying to major in like artistically expressing myself, and everyone that's supposed to be like around me is telling me like, no, keep your voice down. Like I'm like, well, this is like part of my identity now because everyone around me is like,
they almost force you to do it. It's like a lot of times, like personally, I just say something and it's just kind of a thought for me, but then people push me on it. It's like, no, I have to dig my feet in here, and it's like, this is what I believe to be true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I don't want to lie. That's my biggest thing. I don't like lying, whether it's in public or in the classroom or whatever. So the website was definitely a great way to express that. And it was hilarious because the second I make it, I'm starting making articles, and I'm slowly building up like a viewer base and a readership. I'm getting all these emails or, private messages from people around campus, whether I know or not, going like, hey, thanks for posting this. I agree. Like the Paris Climate Accords were dumb, stuff like that. Everyone has, whether it's like they agree with the entire thing, or they'll even like, I'll defend you guys when you guys got banned, or I'll defend like Owen Benjamin when he got kicked off of social media, and I'll defend him, and they'll go, hey, I don't agree with this, but I agree with this. Thanks for like defending that, because I feel like all I'm getting is one side. And it was weird because I was able to build this like groundswell of support really from all these people, despite the fact that like when I first created the website, I felt so alienated from everyone.
Yeah. And did you, I mean, have you lost friends? I would assume you have since then.
Yeah, like the initial group of people I knew at university. Basically, I'm kind of persona non grata with a lot of people in UT film. Like anyone that knows me, I'll join a project and then someone will be like, oh, But I'm useful enough on sets that people are kind of forced to work with me, But yeah, definitely, it's hurt some relationships.
And do people like? I mean, do they call you Nazi? Like,
Yeah,
are you actually get Nazi labels?
Yeah, and I'm Jewish too, so that's why it's hilarious.
that's hilarious,
because
yeah.
people will throw a lot of things at me. I've been called Nazi, I've been called racist, been called the biggest one though, because I'm Jewish. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you're internalizing oppression" and stuff like that. And or the worst one is when people just don't say anything to me. I can just tell they're physically upset,
Yeah.
and then I find out later, oh, they were like. The worst is people posting on social media on Facebook like, this person in my class defended Donald Trump, or this person defended like Ron Paul, and I'm like, that's
That's the problem, is that these people view Marxism as a science. And if something's a science, then it can't be wrong, and you have to like figure out weird ways to make things fit into your version of reality. So it's like, oh, a Jewish person supports what I think is a Nazi, therefore he's internalizing oppression. Or, Candace Owens is, a conservative, she must be secretly hating black people because she's internalized that oppression. So anyways, that's just kind of the insanity of Marxism. What do you think is how do you think that we go forward and fight against this? Because I mean, hearing what you've said about professors and stuff, the way that it is, how do we even battle this?
Right. So I was really optimistic when, YouTube and everything, being from the younger generation, it was like, cool. It doesn't matter if, I know for a fact, like Netflix won't buy my series, right? Because I'm, it's run by like the Obamas and the Obama staffs. But like, it's fine because if I get support, I can create a Patreon, I can create whatever. And then it got a little scary when like, Lauren Southern and a bunch of other people started getting kicked off. But I still think like I've seen a lot of content creators and supporters, they still find support. Like people are still hungry for this content. Box office sales, that's the one good thing I study at UT is just trends and demographics and the way people want it. People aren't liking movies the same way they are right now because they can tell. Like they want Star Wars for escapism, and instead what they're getting is just a huge slew of like social justice. And the second something comes out like John Wick that has nothing to do with it, it kills. Everyone loves it, So I'm optimistic that way because journalism and whatever, it's whether the platform's killed or not, like you guys are proof of this, it finds a way and people are searching out the content, and
yeah, and hearing what you said, it makes a lot more sense. I was talking earlier about, let's see if I can find the article. I was talking earlier about this. Did you see First Man?
Oh, right,
movie?
the Damien Chazelle movie, yeah.
Yeah, and they omitted the part where Neil Armstrong plants the flag on the moon because it supposedly it's an achievement that transcends countries and borders. And that makes a lot more sense now hearing what you've said about everything being filtered through cultural Marxism.
Right, and it's obvious coming from Damien because it's like you've seen his other filmography and obviously he's like tortured, and subscribes to all those beliefs. And that's the problem is it's, we know how the industry works. A producer gives you the green flag, like good job. And now it isn't, oh, you're a talented director, you're a good writer. It's you parrot the right things, you did your time, here's your time to make something for us, and there's a million writers behind you that are going to change your script for you to like make sure it fits that. So
what are some of I'm interested to hear now, what are some of the craziest things that you've either heard a professor say or an experience that you've had in class? What's one of the craziest stories?
Oh man, I can't even think of the craziest. I can just think of like the multitude of we're like starting a class off in a semester and the professor makes everyone close their eyes like we're in kindergarten and says, hey guys, we're gonna have to walk around in class today. So raise your hands, and if anyone's otherly abled, make sure you raise your hands so that way I don't aggress upon you, and then immediately it's like, okay, cool, everyone here is, fine, let's do it. And then it's like, all right, I'll be handing out a piece of paper, everyone write your pronouns and what name you want to be given in class this semester. And this is like an upper division class, and it's like, it's that bad. Like, it's really that bad. And I'm looking around and I have like my one friend in the class and we're making eye contact the entire time trying to laugh because it's like, I can't, these are like 40-year-old people with doctorate degrees. I'm supposed to say like professor, doctor, and it's like we're retrograding,
Has anybody ever like taken advantage of that? I've heard in like some classes they'll write things, it's like, what are your pronouns? And then somebody will go like His Majesty or things like that.
There was one guy I know who did it, and he basically got blacklisted so hard the professor like threatened to like kick him out of UT because like and it's pretty. I don't want to say any names or anything, but yeah, I've seen that. That was pretty bad.
Wow, absolutely astounding. Well, this is Ethan Berman, he will be collaborating with us in this upcoming University Wars project. It's going to be huge, really. I think it's a great idea. University Wars and then the InfoWars Army. Definitely be looking forward to it. Lots of big stuff coming up. So thank you, Ethan, so much for joining us. You can find him at Bermansplaining.com. We'll be right back on the other side of this break with more War Room.
Buy my Cortex Quake pills and you will not die! Now available in mixed berry.
Cortex Quake.
Do not believe anyone who says these pills are just spray-painted Mike and Ike. Cortex Quake! Thank God they didn't get the formula or didn't get the jump on us with ultimate female force. My beautiful wife had 3 children one day after she even looked at a bottle of female force. But let me tell you, as Tuck Buckford knows, my cousin, and as I know as well, we came up with the ultimate known herbal formula for your little lady friend. Popeye turns into a badass when he eats spinach. My little lady turns into Godzilla when she takes it. So remember, you can get your ultimate female force today at InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com and tell the mainstream media they can go straight to hell as you fund the First Amendment and unlock the incredible dynamo that is your little lady friend. Whoa! I love it!
We're bringing back one of the biggest fan-favorite formulas we've ever offered with even better ingredients, Ultimate Bone Broth. InfoWars Life is proud to bring you a powerhouse bone broth formula to help push you to your limits. This incredible formula will help you get the most out of your workout with the power of ultra-high-quality bone broth, one of the most popular health trends on the planet. Built with more than 7 different superfoods and crucial compounds, Ultimate Bone Broth will help support your healthy muscles, digestion, tendons, and ligaments, while also supporting your body's fight against free radicals. This incredible chicken bone broth formula contains time-tested ingredients such as turmeric root, chaga mushroom, goji berry powder, bee pollen, and alfalfa herb powder to support your body. It's time to experience what Ultimate Bone Broth can do for you. Get a bottle of the all-new version of a fan-favorite product today at InfoWarsStore.com.